Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Before we get started, I want to say a huge thank you to all of you. SimRacerSven has now officially reached the milestone of 100 subscribers. Your support, comments, likes, and encouragement mean a lot to me, and I truly appreciate every single one of you who has joined me on this sim racing journey. To celebrate this achievement, we're heading into another exciting race in iRacing's Porsche Cup Fixed by CONSPIT Series. For race 10 of the 2026 Season 2 Championship, we travel to the legendary Circuit Zandvoort Grand Prix layout in the Netherlands. Over the next 16 laps, the drivers will tackle one of the most challenging and unforgiving circuits on the calendar. With its flowing high-speed corners, dramatic elevation changes, and very limited overtaking opportunities, Zandvoort demands absolute precision from every driver. Before we head to the starting grid, let's take a closer look at the machine Sven Matthies will be driving today. This is the Porsche 911 Cup, Generation 992.2, the latest evolution of Porsche's iconic one-make race car. Powered by a naturally aspirated 4-liter flat-six engine producing 520 horsepower, the Porsche Cup car delivers its performance exclusively to the rear wheels through a 6-speed sequential gearbox. Weighing just 1,300 kilograms, the car offers an impressive power-to-weight ratio and demands precision from its driver at every corner. Unlike many modern GT race cars, the Porsche Cup machine keeps driver aids to a minimum. While ABS is available under braking, there is no traction control, meaning throttle application and rear tire management are entirely in the hands of the driver. That combination makes the Porsche Cup one of the purest and most challenging race cars in iRacing. For today's race, Sven Matthies is competing in his distinctive green, black, and red livery. At a demanding circuit like Zandvoort, where rhythm, commitment, and confidence are crucial, this Porsche Cup car is guaranteed to provide an exciting challenge. Now that we've met the machine, let's take a look at the starting grid for race 10. The grid is set, the engines are ready, and we're just moments away from race 10 of the Porsche Cup Fixed by CONSPIT Series at Circuit Zandvoort. Once again, we have a truly international fields on the grid today. A total of 22 drivers representing 13 different nations are ready to battle it out over 16 laps. The countries represented are the Netherlands, Germany, South Korea, Taiwan, Kazakhstan, the United States, Spain, South Africa, Australia, Lithuania, Bulgaria, Poland, and Mexico. Starting from pole position is local driver Danny Tumilero, 2 from the Netherlands. With a strong I rating and the advantage of clear air ahead, he'll be looking to convert pole position into victory. Alongside him on the front row is Seongwon Lee from South Korea. Starting from P2, he has been one of the strongest competitors in this split and will certainly be aiming for the top step of the podium. Starting third is Sven Matthies from Germany in the number 17 Porsche. After an excellent qualifying performance, he'll have a great opportunity to fight at the front of the field right from the start. With a grid packed full of talent and very little room for mistakes around the narrow and challenging circuit as Zandvoort, we can expect plenty of action throughout the race. Now it's time to head to the track and watch how it all unfolds. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the race highlights from race 10 of the Porsche Cup Fixed by CONSPIT Series. Let's go racing! Under beautiful skies at Circuit Zandvoort, everything is set for the start of race 10. Green, green, green. The field launches away and charges towards the daunting first corner, Tarzanbocht. Matthies negotiates the opening corners cleanly and holds onto his position in the early stages of the race. Tengfu Hsu makes his move. The Taiwanese driver dives to the inside at Gerlachbocht and catches Matthies by surprise. But the battle isn't over yet. Tengfu Hsu loses control of his Porsche through Hugenholzbocht. Matthies dives to the inside, keeps his Porsche firmly planted on the racing line, and powers past Teng Fusu to reclaim the position. What a response from the German driver! And now, there's major drama at the front of the field. Danny Tumilero and Xiongguan Li make contact, and suddenly the battle for the lead erupts into chaos. And Sven Matthies is in the perfect position to take advantage. And just like that, Sven Matthies takes the lead of the race. What an incredible opening lap here at Zandvoort. Starting from third on the grid, Matthies has stayed calm, avoided the drama, capitalized on every opportunity, and now finds himself at the very front of the field. But with 15 laps still remaining, the challenge is only just beginning. Now the pressure shifts completely, because from this moment on, everyone else is chasing Sven Matthies. Matt Williams Sr. is not wasting any time. Williams has excellent momentum coming onto the long start-finish straight and immediately tucks into the slipstream of the number 17 Porsche. Can Matt Williams Sr. complete the move before Tarzan balked? Williams can't get the move done on the main straight, but he's certainly not backing off. The pressure on Sven Matthies continues to build as the pair dive into the opening sector once again. Matt Williams Sr. gets an outstanding exit out of Hugenholzbach. The number 17 Porsche of Sven Matthies is still leading, but Williams carries tremendous speed onto the short straight that follows. The pressure is immense now. Matthies can barely glance in his mirrors without seeing the front of Williams' Porsche filling the entire view. The battle for the lead is intensifying, and Matt Williams Sr. is making it crystal clear. He wants that race lead, and he's not going away anytime soon. Matt Williams Sr. is absolutely glued to the rear bumper of Sven Matthies. Time and time again, Williams gets a fantastic run out of the corners and closes right up to the back of the Matthies Porsche. Yet despite all that pressure, Williams simply cannot find a way through. Matthies is driving a flawless defensive race at the moment. This is becoming a fascinating battle between patience and precision. Heading into Bocht 13, Williams spots the smallest of openings and commits to the inside line. And this time, Matthies has no answer. Matt Williams Sr. takes over P1. But the bad news for Matthies doesn't stop there. Xiongguan Li immediately follows Williams' line and now has a huge run on the German. After leading the race for several laps, Sven Matthies suddenly finds himself under attack from all sides. But wait a second. It's not Xiongguan Li making the move. Danny Tumilero is the one who strikes. The Dutch driver gets a fantastic run and seizes the opportunity created by the fight ahead. The top 5 drivers are now covered by less than a second. Just think about that for a moment. 5 Porsche Cup cars, less than 1 second after several laps of hard racing. This is absolutely incredible stuff. And now, Xiongguan Li decides it's time to make his move. Heading towards Bocht 9, he pulls out of the slipstream and draws alongside Sven Matthies. This is a serious attack. Neither driver is willing to back down. Matthies holds firm, refusing to surrender the position. What a fantastic display of respect and racecraft from both drivers. Xiongguan Li isn't done yet. Heading down towards the Hans Ernst chicane, Li closes right back up under braking. Once again, he looks for a way through, and once again, Matthies refuses to give him an opening. The German driver places his car perfectly on entry, covering the inside line without compromising his corner speed. Li tries to pressure him into a mistake, but Matthies remains calm and composed. Corner after corner, braking zone after braking zone, the number 17 Porsche continues to hold firm. Xiongguan Li has been applying pressure for quite some time, and heading into Tarzan balked, he's right on the rear bumper of Sven Matthies once again. And there's contact. Just a slight touch between the 2 Porsche Cup cars, but enough to get the attention of both drivers. The South Korean driver lets his Porsche drift wide on corner exit, sacrificing the shorter line to maximize his momentum onto the following straight. It's a smart move. A very smart move. Lee gets a fantastic run, carrying significantly more speed than Matthies as they accelerate down the straight. Seongwon Lee takes the position away from Sven Matthies, and Sven Matthies barely has a moment to breathe. No sooner has he lost the position to Seongwon Lee than another challenger appears in his mirrors. Tim J. Kochan is now joining the fight. The fellow German has worked his way into contention and senses that Matthies may be vulnerable after that intense battle with Lee. Kochan is showing the nose of his Porsche at every opportunity, making sure Matthies knows he's there. The pressure is relentless, and that's the challenge of racing at the front of a Porsche Cup field. The moment you lose one position, the next driver is already lining up an attack. Can Matthies regroup and defend against his countrymen? Tim J. Kochan is setting up his next attack. The German driver knows that opportunities at Zandvoort are rare, and if he wants to get past Sven Matthies, he needs to make this one count. Exiting the final corner, Kochan gets a clean run and immediately tucks into the slipstream of the Matthies Porsche. But once again, Tim J. Kochan comes up just short. The slipstream was there, but Matthies survives another attack. Kochan will be frustrated. And now, the battle crosses a line. Once again, Sven Matthies finds himself compromised through Hugenholzbucht, taking the less favorable line on corner exit. Kochan moves up alongside and makes contact with the side of Matthies' Porsche, and before they even reach Slotmakerbocht, there's another hit. Now, racing hard is one thing, racing aggressively is one thing, but repeatedly making contact with another driver is something that should be avoided at all costs. But no matter how frustrated a driver may be, these are exactly the kinds of actions that can ruin not only your own race, but someone else's as well. And while all the attention has been focused on the fierce battle around Sven Matthies, another driver has quietly worked his way forward. Rumen Varemezov spotted an opening and executes a clean, precise overtake on Matthies. It was a tight move, a very committed move. But importantly, it was also a fair one. Varemezov gave just enough room, keeps the car under control, and completes the pass without contact. Wait a minute. What's happened here? Tim J. Kochan has crashed heavily. A massive impact for the German driver, and his Porsche is left badly compromised. We didn't quite catch the initial trigger, but one thing is certain. Kochan's race has taken a dramatic turn for the worse. You can push the limits for lap after lap, but eventually there comes a point where the margin for error disappears completely. And today, that margin may finally have caught up with Tim J. Kochan. And for Sven Matthies, this incident could not have come at a better time. He gains a position without having to fight for it and moves one step closer to the front once again. For the first time in quite a while, Sven Matthies can finally take a deep breath. The relentless attacks that have defined the last several laps have finally subsided. No Matt Williams Sr. filling the mirrors, no Danny Tummeler at the rear bumper, no Seongwon Lee looking for a gap, no Tim J. Kochan throwing the car alongside at every opportunity. Just a brief moment of calm in what has been a chaotic and action-packed race. Matthies now finds himself in a rather unusual situation. For the moment, he's stuck in what drivers often call no man's land. It's not the most exciting place to be from a racing perspective, but after everything that has happened, Matthies will probably be quite happy to have a few corners without having to look in his mirrors every second. But that brief moment of calm may be coming to an end. While Sven Matthies has finally been able to settle into a rhythm, another driver is rapidly closing in from behind. Jonas Seifert is on the charge. The German driver has been one of the standout performers of this race, slicing his way through the field from deep on the grid. And now, his next target is Sven Matthies. The pressure is building once again. Matthies knows an attack is coming. The only question is, when will Jonas Seifert make his move? And once again, it's Hugenholzbucht where the drama unfolds. Jonas Seifert closes in and makes contact. Matthies is tagged at corner exit, and around he goes. This is a huge moment. At this speed, a spin here can very easily end in heavy contact with the wall and the end of a driver's race. But watch the car control from Matthies, arms working furiously at the wheel, balancing the car on the very edge of control. What an incredible save! The German throws every ounce of his driving skill into recovering the car and somehow escapes what looked like certain disaster. Now, whether that move from Jonas Seifert was overly optimistic or simply misjudged, opinions will no doubt differ. But one thing is certain. That wasn't exactly the gentleman's way of making a pass. 5 laps later, after a long period of relative calm, the race suddenly springs back to life. Another dramatic incident, Rumen Varimezov has crashed, and remarkably, it's at the exact same section of the circuit where Tim J. Kochan suffered his heavy accident earlier in the race. The Bulgarian loses control and slams into the barriers, bringing an abrupt end to what had been a very impressive drive through the field. Zandvoort strikes again. This circuit has a habit of punishing even the smallest mistake, and today, that unforgiving nature has claimed yet another victim. For Sven Matthies, however, this incident comes as a welcome piece of good fortune. Without having to make an overtake on track, the German gains another position. Matthies moves from P6 back up to P5, and just when it looked as though the race was settling into its final rhythm, everything changes once again. We are now in lap 15 of 16, the penultimate lap of the race. Heading into Tarzanbocht, 2 familiar cars are moving unusually slowly, Danny Tumuller and Matt Williams Sr. Matthies drives straight past both and gains 2 positions in a matter of seconds. P3. Oh no! More late race drama involving Sven Matthies. Williams dives down the inside, and there's contact. Matthies is sent off the racing line and suddenly finds himself heading towards the grass with very little control over the car. Once again, disaster is staring him in the face. Once again, the barriers are approaching rapidly. And once again, what a save from Sven Matthies. Somehow the German keeps the Porsche out of the wall. Somehow he gathers up the car and keeps his race alive. But the damage to his result has already been done. The podium dream evaporates in an instant. After 16 laps packed with drama, battles, contact, overtakes, heartbreak, and incredible saves, the number 17 Porsche is finally approaching the end of a truly unforgettable race. Matthies powers through the final corners and now heads into the famous Arie Luyendyk for the very last time. The banking catches the Porsche and launches it onto the start-finish straight. And with the checkered flag having fallen, it's time to take a look at the final results from race 10 of the Porsche Cup Fixed by CONSPIT Series at Circuit Zandvoort. First of all, congratulations to our race winner, Seungwon Lee from South Korea, who delivered an outstanding drive from second on the grid to take a well-deserved victory. Finishing in second place after an incredible charge through the field was Jonas Seifert from Germany. Starting from P13 and climbing all the way to the runner-up position, that was one of the drives of the race. Completing the podium in third place was Matt Williams Sr. from the United States, who spent much of the race fighting at the sharp end of the field and secured a strong finish after an intense battle. Congratulations to all 3 drivers on their podium finishes. As for Sven Matthies from Germany, the final result was P5. While the finishing position may not fully reflect the race he drove, it was nevertheless a fantastic performance. Matthies led the race, defended brilliantly against wave after wave of attacks, survived multiple incidents, produced several remarkable saves, and remained in contention from the opening lap right to the finish. In the end, a top 5 finish, a gain in iRating, and another exciting chapter in the Porsche Cup Fixed Series can certainly be viewed as a successful outing. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your favorite moment from the race in the comments below. Your support has already helped SimRacerSven reach the milestone of 100 subscribers, and I truly appreciate every single one of you for being part of this journey. Until next time, take care stay safe, and I'll see you in the next race. Thanks for watching, and goodbye from Circuit Zandvoort.